The gravity hall sang when the pulse arrived, metal humming, floors rippling like water under twin suns. Training drones stuttered midair, guidance rings flaring violet. A steel desk tore loose and spun toward first years. Aria Solen moved before fear could speak. She slammed her shoulder into a console, deflecting the desk wide. Pain tore her arm, but she dragged a frozen Zerati cadet behind a partition just as a drone speared the floor, its harmless, charged rattling teeth. Up, she coughed. Move! Now! Gravity lurched sideways, then snapped back. Bracers groaned, lights bled to embers. For 3 breaths the hall held still, then the Spire exhaled. Sirens woke late. Instructors flooded the doors. Among them, Varix Kaldar walked like a sheathed blade, precise, unhurried, eyes cataloging weaknesses. Report, he said. A Korath cadet pointed. The human destabilized the cluster. I pulled 2 students out from under a flying table. Aria snapped. Heroics often mask culpability. Varix murmured. We will determine cause. Medics worked. Burnt circuitry fouled the air. Near a split conduit, Aria spotted a shard of crystalline matter lodged in melted insulation. It flickered once, then stilled, like an eye pretending sleep. She palmed it quickly as Varix's shadow crossed. Debrief. Hall 3. Do not disturb evidence, he said. Wouldn't dream of it. Aria replied, the shard already hidden in her sleeve. Hall 3 radiated cold authority. Council screens replayed sensor feeds, resonance spikes, shear patterns, surges. Aria stood alone at the center ring. Varix observed from the side, neutral as arithmetic. Describe your actions, the presiding elder said. When the pulse struck, drones lost control. I intervened. 2 Zerati evacuated, Aria answered. Why enter the hazard? A Sar elder pressed. Because no one else had moved, Aria said flatly. A ripple stirred the tears. Varix raised his hand. Human reflex is admirable, and sometimes counterproductive, he said smoothly. Solen's trajectory intersects the fault. It is possible she contributed to Cascade. By existing near broken equipment? Aria shot back. By carrying unshielded devices, Varix replied pleasantly. Humans carry many. Permitted by regulation, she countered. Regulations may be inadequate, he said, almost kind. The elder tapped the rim. Sensors record a resonance anomaly prior to the pulse. Origin unclear. Cadet Solen, you are confined to quarters pending review. Her dormitory overlooked the twin suns, one gold like a promise, one white like a blade. She sealed the door, activated a surveillance shield, and set the shard on her desk. Almost transparent, yet threaded with metallic veins. She ran a low-power scan. The shard whispered frequency steps, injection times, rising patterns. Not random, she murmured. A metronome. The door chimed. She braced. Kalen, the Zerati telepath, slipped inside, frills shadowed under a hood. You nearly died, they said bitterly. You felt it? I felt the Spire forced offbeat, Kalen whispered. Like a voice made to read a hated language. Sabotage, Aria said. Do not speak it, Kalen warned. Then read this. She slid the shard across. Kalen touched it. Frills shivered. Instruction injected into conduits. Not from the heart. A parasite rhythm. Who placed it? Kalen's jaw tightened. Someone trained to block thought. Someone who wears calm. Both avoided the name. We need proof the council will weigh, Aria said, unrolling a schematic. Conduits stretched like veins. She traced paths back to Sector 7GA, an instructor's calibration bay. You are confined, Kalen reminded her. I haven't left. The door chimed again. Bral entered, towering, voice like stone. If you break law, break it decisively. We go quiet, Aria said. My silence is enormous, Bral replied, affronted. They descended service shafts, lifts disabled. The Spire's hum deepened, pressing on their chests. At 7GA the door denied their badges. Aria bridged inspection ports with a strip from her wristband. Systems hesitated, then yielded. Inside lay a forest of conduit trunks glowing with bottled dawn. Tools lay too neat, a cart left open. Aria crouched at a seam, scoring marks, recesses designed for shards like hers. "Injector sites," she said. "I feel echoes where they were pulled," Kalen whispered. "We are not alone," Brow rumbled. A soft exhale broke the silence. Varix emerged from shadows, calm, hands empty. "Curiosity is admirable," he said. "And sometimes counterproductive." "You like that line?" Aria replied coldly. "You are violating confinement," he said. "This bay is restricted. Because it holds the truth," she shot back. "Truth requires context," he smiled. "So does sabotage. Will the Council hear context before or after the next pulse kills someone?" His eyes hardened, just for a heartbeat. "Leave. Now." "Instructor," Kalen ventured, voice shaking. "The Spire is being harmed. It is being tested," Varix said. "The Academy must prove resilience." "At whose command?" Brow demanded. "Higher than yours," Varix said pleasantly. He turned to Aria. "Your need to be believed makes you visible in ways that end poorly. And your need to vanish fails once anyone looks," Aria retorted. An alarm whispered, then built, a new pulse rising. Varix's gaze flicked upward. "This conversation is over." He walked out, the door sealing behind him. "He'll erase the logs," Aria said sharply. "Then record faster," Brow answered. They scattered through the bay, scanning ports, tracing couplings, pressing crystal surfaces for echoes. In minutes they secured data, injector sites linked in sequence, each tied to pre-pulse harmonics. The floor thrummed. The Spire growled. Aria sealed evidence in her wristband, then etched a backup into the shard itself. It pulsed faintly, alive. She closed her fist. "We take this at first light." "And if first light does not arrive?" Brow asked. Aria stared out at the suns, promise and blade. "Then we make it." The council chamber was carved from obsidian, its dome latticed with light from the twin suns. Tier upon tier of alien representatives filled the gallery, their murmurs like shifting tides. At the center ring stood Aria Solen, stripped of rank insignia, her wristband muted to "Observer only." A low chime silenced the room. "The matter of the human cadet will be heard," the presiding elder declared. Varix Kaldar stepped forward, composed as ever. "The pulse threatened dozens. Fault traces aligned with Solen's trajectory. Though brave, she acted in ways that worsened cascade. The Academy must ask, can humanity be trusted with the Spire's heart so near?" A sour delegate leaned forward, spines rattling. "This species entered only recently. Already we see disruption." Aria lifted her chin. "The Spire didn't convulse because of me. It convulsed because someone forced it." She tapped the shard sealed in her sleeve. "I have proof, foreign material lodged in a conduit. Not mine. Not human." Varix's tone was silk. "Convenient that such proof appears in the hand of the accused." Kalen rose hesitantly from the observer benches. "I felt intrusion." The Spire's rhythm twisted. This was not natural. A chorus of disapproval echoed. "Unverified telepathy," one delegate hissed. "Emotion is not evidence." Brow stomped his foot, shaking the ring. "The humans saved lives while the rest of you argued. That is evidence enough." The elder raised a tendril, silencing noise. "Emotions do not replace facts. Solen, present your shard." Aria placed it on the table. Screens magnified its lattice, pulsing faintly with stored data. "Look at the frequency pattern," she said. "Too clean. It's timed injection, not natural resonance." Varix stepped closer, smiling thinly. "I recognize this device. It is a human fabrication. Portable, crude, designed for resonance tampering. Banned in many sectors." Aria's breath caught. "That's a lie." Do you deny that humans experiment with resonance weapons? Humanity barely received clearance to study Spire harmonics. She shot back. We don't even have access to this bay. Gasps rippled through the chamber. Varix had planted the seed, humanity meddling where they had no right. The elder struck the staff. Enough. Logs will be reviewed. Until then, humanity's presence is suspended. Aria clenched her fists. Expulsion was a polite word. It meant disgrace, exile, confirmation that humans were too dangerous to trust. Kalen found her in the marble corridors after adjournment, hood pulled low. You are marked now. He pressed the council into seeing human ambition as threat. Then we find truth before the vote finalizes. Aria said. You are confined, Kalen reminded. I was confined yesterday too. A shadow loomed. Brow emerged, arms crossed. I dislike your stubbornness. But I like being lied to even less. Where do we strike? Aria's lips twitched. Not strike. Prove. They descended into archives, a hall of humming pillars stacked with sensor logs. Entry was forbidden without council clearance. Aria looped her muted wristband into a maintenance port, using tricks Earth cadets weren't supposed to know. Lines of resonance data unfurled. Kalen's frills lit as they skimmed the feed. There, the anomaly curves. Injected from multiple sites. Time-stamped exactly before the pulse. Aria said. Chain them together, and it's deliberate. A cold voice behind them. And forged together, it is still only story. Varix stepped from shadow with guards in black armor. You trespass again. Arrest them. The guards advanced. Brow shifted his weight, fists clenching. Aria raised her voice. If we were guilty, why would we break into logs? Because we already know the truth. She looked directly at Varix. And so do you. For the briefest instant, his mask cracked. His gaze hardened, sharpened, then smoothed into calm again. Council will hear this violation. Humanity will leave tomorrow. The guards bound their wrists. Brow growled but allowed it. Kalen bowed their head. Aria kept her eyes on Varix. You're afraid of the evidence. That means we're close. That night, the council chamber reconvened in emergency session. Alien delegates argued while holograms displayed intercepted images. Aria, Kalen, and Brow in the archive, wristbands linked illegally. This confirms reckless interference, one declared. Expel them before the spire falls. Varix stood, voice calm and final. Humanity sought to tamper with records. Their desperation proves intent. Vote now. The presiding elder looked at Aria. Have you last words before we decide? Aria's throat tightened. She thought of the shard hidden in her quarters, pulsing with stolen data. The council might never hear it. But silence meant surrender. She met the elder's gaze. Humans don't run from storms. We stand in them. If you cast us out without listening, you're not judging us, you're abandoning truth. Whispers spread across tiers. Some alien eyes softened. Others hardened. The elder struck the staff. Council votes, humanity suspended. Departure within 1 day. Outside the chamber, guards escorted her down the long stairs. Brow's jaw was stone. Kalen's frills sagged like torn sails. Aria looked up at the spire's glowing tower cutting the night sky. The hum beneath her feet trembled, another pulse building. They want us gone before the next surge, she said softly. Because the next one won't just rattle walls. It'll break them. Brow grunted. So we stop it. Kalen's eyes met hers. But with what proof? Aria closed her fist, imagining the shard hidden safe in her quarters. With the heart itself, she whispered. We take the truth from the spire before they bury it. The night of expulsion fell heavy over the academy. The plaza glowed with banners of alien crests, none bearing humanity's mark. Aria stood at the edge, wrists unbound but reputation shackled, watching guards prepare a shuttle for her departure. The ground trembled. Not the measured hum of the spire, but a shudder that cracked tiles underfoot. Lights flickered crimson. Cadets screamed as towers trembled. Another pulse, larger than any before, rolled through the academy. Brow roared over the chaos. The spire is breaking. Kalen's frills flared, voice sharp with terror. If it collapses, the suns themselves may answer. The heart is destabilizing. Aria looked at the shuttle waiting for her. Then at the spire, a spear of light groaning under strain. The council would argue, delay, hide behind procedure. By the time they voted, nothing would remain. We're not leaving, she said. We're going to the heart. They forced their way through panicked halls, climbing against gravity shifts. At each turn, conduits sparked, drones fell twitching, walls wept molten seams. The spire was unraveling. Sector locks sealed before them. Brow tore one free with raw strength. Kalen guided them with instinct, following the painful beat of the spire's mind. Finally, they reached the forbidden chamber, a colossal vault of crystal arteries converging around a core the size of a cathedral. The heart pulsed erratically, lights spilling like blood from cracked veins. Varix was already there. His silhouette stood calm before the storm, hands raised toward the heart. Interfaces bent around him, energy threads binding to his wrists. You shouldn't be here, he said, voice still smooth. You're killing it, Aria said. I am mastering it, he corrected. The Dominion will inherit its strength. The Academy has grown weak, divided. But in disciplined hands. The heart doesn't want a master, she cut in. Varix smiled thinly. It wants order. And order is not human. Brow lunged, but a blast of resonance hurled him back against the wall. Kalen cried out, clutching their head as psychic feedback rippled. Aria staggered forward through the waves. You think control makes you strong. But the spire's rhythm is life itself. It needs adaptation, not chains. Varix turned, his mask slipping to reveal fury. And what does a child of a backwater planet know of rhythm? Enough to save it. She drew the shard from her sleeve, the same one she had hidden since the first pulse. It glowed brighter now, resonating with the heart. The energy threads binding Varix wavered, confused. No, he whispered. It cannot answer you. Aria stepped closer. The shard vibrated like a heartbeat in her palm. She reached toward the fractured core. The energy seared her skin, but she did not let go. The heart recognized her. Light flared, swallowing the chamber. Aria's mind was dragged through echoes of the spire's memory, civilizations long gone, voices layered like storms. All sought to command, to weaponize, to cage. Each had failed. But in her stood something different, stubborn will, flawed yet relentless. Humanity's gift was not perfection, but refusal to break. The heart's rhythm aligned with her pulse. The chamber steadied. Conduits sealed themselves, fractures knitting shut. Varix screamed, cut off from the energy. The threads recoiled and lashed at him, tearing armor, burning skin. He collapsed, staggering toward escape tunnels. This is not over, human! He spat before vanishing into shadows. Silence followed, broken only by the steady thrum of the restored heart. Brow rose, bruised but alive. You touched it. And it answered. Kalen's frills shimmered with awe. It chose you. Aria staggered, hands still glowing faintly. It didn't choose me. It chose what humanity carries: adaptability, survival, the will to stand even when outnumbered. The council rushed in moments later, delegates frozen at the sight. A human cadet standing at the heart, the chamber healed. You stabilized it? The presiding elder whispered. Aria met their gaze. I didn't command it. I listened. That's what we do. That's why we belong here. No one spoke. For the first time, no one whispered. Reckless. Or primitive. The silence itself was respect. Later, outside the chamber, as dawn broke over the suns, Brow leaned against the wall. The council will never admit they nearly buried you. They don't need to, Aria said. The Spire already has. Kalen tilted their head, eyes distant. The heart pulses differently now. As if it learned a new rhythm. Aria flexed her hand, still tingling. She looked up at the tower, glowing steady once more. Not new. Just human. The sun's rose, gold promise, and white blade, and for the first time, she believed both belonged to her people.